Jeff Bezos' life story is quite the remarkable one. Coming from humble beginnings, a young Jeff Bezos was a child genius and also a die-hard Star Trek fan. Combining his intellect and his passion, the man risked it all on an internet startup that even he knew could come crashing down at any point. Over the past couple decades, he was able to play his cards right and is well on his way to becoming one of, if not the richest man in the entire world. Of course, success like this has afforded him all the luxuries one can imagine, including mansions all over the world. So, for those of you who are just starting to follow Jeff Bezos, or you wanted to know more about his lavish lifestyle, absurd wealth, mansions, and the intimate details about his rise to fame, sit tight for this video because we have so much to get through. Jeffrey Preston Bezos was actually born by the name Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen on January 12, 1964. The son of Jacqueline Jorgensen and Ted Jorgensen, Ted, a humble bike shop owner, could only watch as his wife and son walked out on his life forever early on in Jeff's life. Ted died in 2015, having never reconciled with his son in any meaningful way. Soon after Jacqueline divorced Ted, she married Miguel Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant. After their wedding, Mike adopted a 4-year-old Jeff, whose surname was then legally changed to Bezos. The family picked up shop and haul-tided to Houston, Texas, where Mike worked as an engineer for Exxon. While in Texas, Jeff attended River Oaks Elementary School in Houston. His maternal grandfather, Lawrence Preston, was a former regional director of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission in nearby Albuquerque, the town made infamous for Breaking Bad and throwing pizzas on the roof. Young Bezos would spend many summers with his granddaddy, working at the family ranch near Cotulla, a ranch he would later purchase himself and expand from a humble abode of, 25,000 acres to something with a little more legroom, 300,000 acres to be exact. As they say, everything is bigger in Texas. But despite how big everything is over there, the Bezoses weren't satisfied in Texas. They moved to Miami, Florida, where Jeff attended Miami Palmetto High School. Jeff even got himself a job at a local McDonald's as a short-order line cook during the breakfast shift. We should have known right then and there how clever this guy is. He was an early adopter long before the internet came around. Don't let his former employment fool you. Jeff was a smarty. He racked up award after award, a National Merit Scholar, a Silver Knight Award winner, and even high school valedictorian. In 1986, he graduated summa cum laude from Princeton University with a 4.2 grade point average. Of course, while at Princeton, he just so happened to be the president of the local chapter of students for the exploration and development of space. As a lifelong Star Trek fan, this should come as little surprise. After Princeton, he was offered jobs at Intel, Bell Labs, and Anderson Consulting, among others. He turned them all down for a company called Fitel? Never heard of it? Me either. Turns out Fitel was a telecommunications startup that tasked Jeff with the job of building it a network for international trade. Jeff and Fitel's union didn't last long, and after that he bounced around, acting as a product manager at Bankers Trust from 88 to 90 before joining D.E. Shaw, a newly formed hedge fund with a strong emphasis on math. He became the senior vice president at the age of 30 and worked there until 1994. It was while working there that Bezos first met Mackenzie Tuttle, a research associate at the firm. The two would wed a year later and go on to be the parents of 4 children, 3 sons and a daughter adopted from China. Late 93 and early 94 is when Jeff Bezos' life would change forever. He decided to quit his cushy day job at D.E. Shaw, jump in his car, drive cross-country from New York to Seattle, and take a chance on his dream. That dream? Oh, you know, an oldie but a goodie, creating the world's first online bookstore. July 5th is the day Jeff started selling books out of his garage to people all around the world. Long before, I'd wager to guess, a vast majority of the world's population even knew something like this was an option, Jeff almost named his company Cadabra, but decided at the last moment not to and settled on Amazon instead. Initially, Jeff helped finance the company with a $300,000 loan from Mom and Pop, who were resistant and in disbelief that he would trade his high-profile Wall Street job to sell books on the World Wide Web. But by pursuing his mantra of get big fast, within 3 years, Bezos was taking the company public. Despite criticisms of his business model, he always maintained that the growth of the internet would eventually overtake his primary competition in the big box stores like Borders and Barnes & Noble. By 1998, Jeff had made good on his promise to be more than just a bookstore, diversifying and expanding his product lines to include consumer goods of all types, including music and a home video market that was primed to explode. Jeff's success grew hand in hand with his ambitions, and by 2013, Bezos secured a $600 million contract with the CIA to utilize his Amazon Web Services. Later that year, Amazon was recognized as the largest online shopping retailer in the world. His next big breakthrough was a little device you may refer to as Alexa. He stated that the original goal was to create a Star Trek computer. Also in 2016, Jeff was given the honor of appearing in a Star Trek production. By 2017, his wealth surpassed the 100 billion mark, and he was formally designated the wealthiest person in the world by Forbes on March 6, 2018, with a net worth of 112 billion. Not long after, he would also enter into the world's most expensive divorce, but then found love again quickly with Lauren Sanchez. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez seem to be putting down some roots in paradise, as just this month it was reported they bought a new estate in Maui, Hawaii. Their tropical getaway is said to have cost around $78 million, but that's not particularly surprising as Bezos dropped a whopping $255 million on his main mansion in Hollywood and some surrounding properties. The Hawaii vacation spot lies on the island of Maui, more specifically La Perouse Bay, on about 14 acres of sprawling and secluded land. The island boasts a beautiful, jagged lava rock coastline from when a prominent volcano erupted back around 1790. A local real estate source claims the cost was around $78 million. In 2020, Jeff purchased his main residence in Los Angeles for he and Lauren to move into, and it seems they went on a bit of a real estate spree. The lovebirds locked down not one, but two massive estates in the upscale Beverly Hills neighborhood. Bezos shelled out a record-breaking $165 million for David Jeffen's iconic Jack Warner estate in the Lower Benedict Canyon, as well as an additional $90 million for the vacant Enchanted Hill estate in the Beverly Hills Post Office neighborhood. Basically, they spent about $255 million on their Los Angeles living situation, and it resulted in two estates with 130 acres of land, along with a nearly 14,000 square foot mansion. While the Warner estate was never officially on the market, it seems the former owner wanted to sell it for ages. Geffen purchased the property way back in 1990 for $47.5 million, and he's since extensively renovated the estate and its 1937 colonial-style main mansion. The main home spans 13,600 square feet of space, while the surrounding land is about 10 flat, fully landscaped areas with dozens of trees, perfect grass, and more. I think it's safe to say he's set for life. Thank you for checking out this video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and leave a comment for who you'd like us to feature next.